It was supposed to be just another night of laughs on Saturday Night Live, but what unfolded left the audience stunned and Meghan Markle reportedly furious. In a brutal takedown that blended comedy with biting commentary, SNL's Colin Jost unleashed a segment so searing even seasoned royal watchers were left speechless. Without mincing words, Jost addressed Meghan's relentless PR machine, her string of failed projects, and the glaring disconnect between her carefully curated brand and public perception. The segment didn't just mock, it dissected. And according to insiders, Meghan did not take it lightly. Reports from those close to her claim she was enraged beyond reason, feeling blindsided and publicly humiliated by the scale and rawness of the satire. What made Jost's segment especially brutal was its surgical precision. Rather than resorting to vague jabs or tired stereotypes, he zeroed in on recent, verifiable misfires. The collapse of her Spotify deal, the lukewarm response to her Jam rebranding, and the heavily scrutinized Archetypes podcast which, despite its initial buzz, failed to leave a lasting mark. Jost mocked the idea that someone could be so obsessed with privacy yet so desperate for attention, a paradox that critics and commentators have echoed since her royal exit. The sketch was less about celebrity gossip and more a cultural critique, a comedian pulling back the velvet curtain on a woman many feel is playing a royal role she never truly earned. Fuel was added to the fire when British media figure Dan Wootton, no stranger to controversy himself, weighed in shortly after the episode aired. On his live segment, Wootton didn't just applaud SNL's roasting, he took it several steps further. He claimed the sketch exposed the calculated nature of Meghan's brand and said the American media was finally waking up to what the British press has known all along. Wootton, who has followed the Sussex saga since day one, argued that Jost wasn't being cruel, he was being honest. The joke worked, Wootton said bluntly, because it reflected a truth people are now willing to admit. Meghan isn't misunderstood, she's just not believable anymore. This isn't an isolated media moment. It's part of a larger pattern that Meghan has struggled to contain. Her attempts at reinventing herself as a lifestyle mogul, from jam jars to Netflix documentaries, are increasingly met with public eye rolls rather than applause. Gone are the days when she could command global sympathy with a single interview. Now, each new venture is met with skepticism, if not outright ridicule. When your personal brand revolves around victimhood, perfection, and misunderstood brilliance, the public starts asking hard questions, especially when the product doesn't deliver. Hollywood insiders are also beginning to speak more openly. A former Netflix executive, speaking under condition of anonymity, recently commented, "There's a growing fatigue around Meghan and Harry. The narrative feels stale. People want substance, not sound bites." This growing disinterest, combined with a comedic takedown like Jost's, signals a dramatic shift in how the Sussex brand is perceived, not as bold and groundbreaking, but increasingly as tone-deaf and contrived. But perhaps the most damning element of Jost's performance was its accuracy. He wasn't just making jokes, he was quoting real failures. Spotify's head of podcast innovation, Bill Simmons, had already publicly blasted Harry and Meghan as grifters. Their Spotify deal reportedly ended after producing just one series. Even their high-profile Netflix collaboration has yielded limited success, with some projects quietly shelved before production even began. When Jost referred to their PR image as a documentary with a jam subscription, the laughter wasn't just from the absurdity, it was from recognition. Meghan's reaction, insiders say, has been frantic. Reports suggest she has been calling in favors from publicists and trying to arrange damage control interviews to steer the narrative. But the more she tries to correct the public's perception, the more the perception seems to spiral further from her control. The court of public opinion has become less forgiving, and no amount of image polishing seems to be restoring the shine. In the end, Colin Jost didn't create this backlash, he merely captured it. His sketch was a mirror held up to a woman caught between reality and reinvention. Meghan Markle may still see herself as a misunderstood trailblazer, but if the laughter on SNL was any indication, much of the public now sees something else entirely, a cautionary tale in real time. And if Meghan thinks the storm will blow over easily, she may be in for yet another rude awakening. Because in today's cultural landscape, even duchesses aren't safe from punchlines, especially when they keep writing the script themselves. The real issue isn't just that Meghan is being mocked, it's that the mockery is sticking. Once revered as a symbol of modern royalty breaking the mold, she's now being cast as a cautionary emblem of fame obsession and hollow branding. The very media she once weaponized to tell her truth has begun turning on her, not out of malice, but from exhaustion. People are no longer buying the hyper-produced image or the over-rehearsed sound bites. They're craving authenticity, and they're not finding it in a Duchess-turned-influencer hawking jam jars and carefully staged kitchen counter relatability. Even allies in the entertainment industry are quietly distancing themselves. One producer noted, "It's risky now. Working with Meghan can bring unwanted attention, and not the good kind. That quiet exodus speaks louder than any interview." In comedy, truth wrapped in satire often hits the hardest. And if Jost's biting segment proved anything, it's that Meghan's story, once a fairy tale, has become Hollywood's most high-profile parody.